Yashodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Make it louder. Prabhupada ki jai, Rajashiman Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Shri Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Govinda, all glories to Shri Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rāyanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam prayat nastreshu adreshu nityam bhagavate sevaya bhagavati uttamasoke bhakti bhagavati naishti chapter 31 Sa Vidita Bharyayas Nirvana. That was too loud.
He turned it down a little bit, but I was saying
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Nirbandham Vikramani Natva Distaya Rahasi Topadvesha Hi Sa Viditvata Bhare Sa Viditvata Bharyayas Tam Nirbandham Vikramani Nadvadistaya Rahasi Sa Viditvata Bharyayas Tam Nirbandham Vikramani Natvadishtaya Rahasi Taya Ho Pai Viveshahi Sa Viditva Bharyayas Tam Nirbandham Vikramani Natvadishtaya Rahasi Taya Ho Pai Viveshahi
Vidvata Bhayaya Nirbandhanam Vikarmani Natvadishtaya rahasi Dayatopa viveshahi Savidvata Tamnirvandhan Nakarmani Natvadishtaya rahasi Dayatopa viveshahi
As you love, Sa E Vidita understanding Ata upon Bharya of the wife that Nirbandham obstinacy Vikramani in the forbidden act Atva offering obeisances Dishtaya unto worshipable fate Rahasi secluded place Taya with her Ta us Bhavivesha lay he certainly translation under wife's purpose he was obliged to perform the forbidden act and thus after offering his obeisances unto worshipful fate he lay with her in a secluded place. Purport by his divine grace Srila Prabhupada. It appears in the talks of Kasyapa with his wife that he was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and although he knew that Lord Shiva would not be pleased with him for such a forbidden act, he was obliged to act by his wife's desire, and thus he offered his obeisances unto fate. He knew that the child born of such untimely sexual intercourse would certainly not be a good child, but could not protect himself because he was too obligated to his wife. In a similar case, however, when Thakur Haridas was tempted by a public prostitute at the dead of night, he avoided the allurement because of his perfection in Krishna consciousness. That is the difference between a Krishna conscious person and others. Kasyapa Muni was greatly learned and enlightened, and he knew all the rules and regulations of systematic life, yet he failed to protect himself from the attack of sex desire. Thakur Haridas was not born of a Brahmin family, nor was he himself a Brahma, yet he could protect himself from an attack due to his being Krishna conscious. Thakur Haridas used to chant the holy name of the Lord 300,000 times daily. Om Jnana Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Umlikamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Dhyena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapanantigam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Paragamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagujatam Sagana Raganatam Vinam Nam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduntam Regiona Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradhan Sadhana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vidascha Hey Krishna Kuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sirto Bangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvas Vabanambo Radha Matada Mohado Dibyad Brindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singha Sanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Pistalabhi Savya Manu Smarami Man Rasa Rasarambi Bamsi Bhatta Tatitaha Menu Snargo Pir Gopinatha Sriyestu Na Tap Hanchana Gora Radhe Ishvara Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpadrubhyas Chakra Nubhi Vachapatita Nam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So we come to the end of the build-up and lead-up to the inevitable. So let's describe here. Worship offering is obeisances unto worshipable fate. Worshipable fate is not a person. So you don't offer obeisances, or you offer obeisances to a person. Sometimes we correct somebody, they're offering obeisances. They don't know how or what direction or how to do it. And, say, who are you offering obeisances to? The door or to the wall or, or pillar or, see, Prabhupada tomorrow. Of course, the wonderful thing of Prabhupada has chosen to place in the purport is the contrast between Kasyapa Muni and the great Mahabhagavata Thakur Haridas. And the contrast is very nice when they can be compared very, very similar. In a similar case, so Haridas Thakur, tempted by the prostitute. Of course, the story is that there was this Ramachandra Khan who was envious of Thakur Haridas, that all local people were worshipping him. He was staying in one place. And so he hired the rest of the local prostitutes to pollute him. And she eagerly took the assignment and promised that I will have it done within 3 nights. Exhibiting postures, feminine postures that would make even the Creator lose his patience. And of course, Thakur Haridas is Brahma Haridas. He is the Creator in his incarnation. Of course, he's taking this role out of great feeling of contrition for his attempt to steal the calves and cowherd boyfriends of Krishna in the 13th chapter, the 10th canto. After offering his prayers in the 14th chapter, he couldn't understand whether now 7-year-old Krishna was pleased or displeased with him. Couldn't tell. It's like if you commit an offense and you ask for forgiveness and the person doesn't give any indication whether he accepts or not accepts, it's going to leave you quite confused and hanging. So the person who really wants the forgiveness will continue to do something that will get the person who he wants the forgiveness from's attention. And as Thakur Haridas, he most certainly got the Lord's attention in a very big way by becoming the Nam Acharya. In due course of time, actually at the conclusion of this month, this Rishikesh month is the holy month of Bhadra, the second month of Chaturmas. So on the Ananta Chaturdasi day, the waxing moon, the day before Vishvarup Mahotsav, Thakur Haridas, by his own will, went back home to Godhead. His passing was real news. After explaining that to Lord Chaitanya, who was visiting him, and he was not feeling well, ultimately, we try to understand or talk with devotees, with our friends, and what is the problem? What is deep? What are you feeling deep within your heart? So Lord Chaitanya had that conversation with Haridas Thakur, and he revealed, "My Lord, I think that quite soon you will bring to a close your earthly pastimes in this world. I wish that you not show me that final chapter of your pastime. I wish to leave the material body before that time comes." And there was some loving statement by Lord Chaitanya. "My dear Haridas, whatever happiness I have, it is all due to your association. It is not fitting that you leave me aside and go away." Some pure devotee going back home, back to Godhead, quite the contrary of leaving the Lord aside and going away. He's going back home, back to Godhead, for in complete perfection. Still, whatever is your desire, the Lord must fulfill. So it was concluded that he would come back to his residence, the Siddhavakul, the following day, and Lord Chaitanya asked Haridas Thakur, "Haridas, what is the news?" And what was the news? It was Thakur Haridas's reply, "My Lord, whatever mercy you can bestow upon me." And what was that mercy bestowed upon Haridas Thakur immediately by Lord Chaitanya? Or what was that news? The Lord began great congregational Harinam Sankirtan in the courtyard. So the news always is Harinam Sankirtan. That's always what is the news. And people try to analyze what's the geopolitical situation, what's going on, But the real news and the real perception of what the actual facts are for those who are adherents and propagators and servants of Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead's Harinam Sankirtan movement. They're the news. Because they are the news, they know what the news is. There is no question of uncertainty for those engaged in this Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada writes in one purport. They know what's what and what's going on. They're never bewildered or confused. At the end of the day, in Brajadam, Krishna and Balaram returned from the pasturing grounds with their calves and cowherd boyfriends, and that creates a very great dust in the setting sun, and seemingly it is difficult to see Krishna and Balaram. Yet the residents of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radharani and the gopis, who are the topmost devotees. Why is Srimati Radharani the greatest devotee? Prabhupada said he taught his new congregation in September 1966 because she loved Krishna the best. What an answer. The easy for the neophytes and profound for the topmost Mahabhagavat. All can understand that statement. They can see what Krishna is doing through the dust and the haze. Simply, the modes of material nature create confusion and a whirlwind dust storm. But pure devotees can always see Krishna's hand through those modes of material nature. Tribir Gunamaya Bhavir. I am the creator of these modes. And Daihi Esha Gunamai Mamamaya Dirachaya. Those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So Haridas Thakur easily crossed beyond the test of prostitute. In a similar case, however, when Thakur Haridas was tempted by a public prostitute in the dead of night, he avoided the allurement. What to speak of avoiding the allurement? He welcomed it. Why? People ask me, how did you not get married? How did you stay like this all your life? What's the secret sauce? What did Haridas Thakur do? He took it as an eager opportunity. Oh no, there's a turtle, I gotta run away, attachment and aversion, hanging on for dear life. He used that opportunity to convert the prostitute. New York is a tough place. All these, undressed women running around all over the place, very hard, very tough. He used the opportunity to convert them to Krishna consciousness. My dear Hari, after exhibiting the various feminine postures that would make even the most learned philosopher lose his patience, then she said, my dear devotee, Haridas Thakur was a young man, your youth is just beginning. I'm here only for union with you. What woman can control herself after seeing? And actually, with Maya Devi herself, prostitute doesn't say this, that then she, when like Maya, who knows you, can really says, it is the nature of the saintly to be merciful to the poor and downtrodden. So what was the trick? Yes. Very good proposal. I will surely accept you. Ultimately as my disciple. By initiating you into the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But my vow to chant the holy name is not completed. You simply sit here and wait for that time to come. Then, when my rounds are completed, like Prabhu made the joke, my 16 rounds are done, I'm hanging on the hook, now I can do any damn thing I want, Banabhata Prabhu was in charge as the temple commander. Do we have any temple commanders here? They can relate to this story. The long building in Mayapur was just built, and we're trying to set the rooms up, bring in like the bunk beds and whatever furniture and things like that. There was a lot of work to do. The devotees from all over the world were coming. Big Mayapur festival. And he was trying to grab anybody who he could to get the work done. And there was an American devotee who just came big, strong, and he had come just chant Hare Krishna in the banana patch. Just all day, just chant japa. That's it. Of course, Prabhupada said something about this individual. How this is not his adhikar to do such a thing. But in this instance, Prabhupada's response to the frustrated temple commander, Banubhata, who went in to complain to Srila Prabhupada about this devotee and his refusal to do the practical work to help out. And Banubhata entered Prabhupada's room in Mayapur, in Lotus. Prabhupada was chanting very absorbedly japa. And And Prabhupada noticed him. Yes, come in. Prabhupada, there's a devotee, and he only wants to chant Hare Krishna. He doesn't want to do any service, and I have to get, etc., etc. And Prabhupada just looked at Prabhupada and said, so, you don't think chanting Hare Krishna is also service? It is the topmost service. So when the topmost devotee chants Hare Krishna, it is the topmost service. Just like Bhakti, there's a giant cockroach right there. Looks like he came from Puerto Rico or something, you know. What was I just saying? It is a top. Oh, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose disappearance day is I believe the day before, one of those days from Ekadasi to the point of this month. There were certain things that he was dissatisfied with towards the end of his life. He had attempted, with all sincerity, to renovate and extend the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I mean, from our perspective, he was fantastic. Prabhupada said that if we were even one fraction of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that would be nice. And that there was seeming, the Sankirtan movement's completely successful establishment all over the world was not seemingly done by the time of Thakur Haridas's, by Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance. Vishnu Jan Maharaj asking Srila Prabhupada in his room with other sannyasis present in June of 1975. Prabhupada said that he was very kind and merciful, and he left some devotional service for us to do. So, Lord Chaitanya appeared to him and said, my dear Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you go to the seashore at Jagannath Puri, particularly the Chatak Parvat sand dunes, which are a replica of Govardhan Hill. You can read in the Anjali Chaitanya Charitamrita, where I personally buried my beloved Haridas. And there you should simply chant the holy names for the rest of your life, and by so doing you'll deliver the entire material world. So one Mahabhagavat chanting by the Lord's order the holy names continuously is extremely potent and powerful. Haridas Thakur was the crown jewel on the head of this world. Without him, this world has lost its valuable jewel. Anyone who has seen the passing of Haridas Thakur, anyone who has chanted and danced here, anyone who has offered sand on the body of Thakur Haridas, and anyone who has accepted prashadam will all receive the mercy of the Lord very soon. There is such power in seeing Thakur Haridas. When he wanted to leave this world, it was not within my power to detain him, just like Bhishma Dev, as we have heard from scriptures. Everyone say, all glories to Thakur Haridas, who revealed in this world the importance of the chanting of the holy names. And then, with mixed feelings of happiness and distress, the Lord took rest. That is the difference between a Krishna-conscious person and others. Kasyapa was greatly learned and enlightened, and he knew all the rules and regulations of systematic life, yet he failed to protect himself from the attack of sex desire. So, the expert warrior, he turns the attack's enemy He's not on the defensive as much as he's taking that attack and turning it into defensive back against the enemy. In tomorrow's verse and purport, Kasapa Muni appears to be an impersonalist, offering his obeisances to worshipable faith. Huh? Okay, Hadai Pran, could you offer your obeisances to worshipable faith? Where is worshipable faith? Where is it? Who is it? What is it? Go this way or that way? Comparing his character with that of Thakur Haridas as referred to above, it is clear that the personalist is stronger in sense control than the impersonalist. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as Ram Dristva Nivartante. One ceases to accept lower grade things when one is situated in a superior condition. So why is illicit sex such a sinful activity? Why is it one of the four regulative principles? Well, I could follow two of the regulative principles, no gambling, no meat, but, maybe if they're a little aggressive, okay, give up intoxication, but the other one, very, very difficult. Because the ultimate goal of life is to worship the original lovers, the original personality of God. And why is Srila Prabhupada installing the deities of Radha and Krishna in his temples all over the world? If it's not a fully established temple or a preaching center, then Gorni Thai or a picture. But full temple, Prabhupada always wanted Radha and Krishna. Prabhupada was establishing Krishna consciousness in London. The capital of the British Raj, that he was a very enthusiastic young follower of the movement to liberate India from the rule of this oppressive rule of the worldwide British Empire. So you must get it's interesting. Prabhupada, everywhere else you can think of, save except in London, there's arrangement that deities were brought from Jaipur, devotees were dispatched, like we have our Srimati and Kaushalya Matajis were sent to Jaipur to oversee, and I can't remember right off the top of my head, but devotees were sent to for the creating for the manifesting of Shri Radha Shama Sundala Vishaka Krishna Balaram Gorni Thai. But Prabhupada just told the devotees, you must get deities. And here's the deadline. Prabhupada arrived in September, and they stayed in Darman's place for a while, and then they're like, we got to get out of here for various reasons. Prabhupada had an apartment, and they were just, Prabhupada said, all right, that's it. December 14th. That's it. No excuses. And they set up a hotline. Anybody, where are we going to get deities? Where are we going to get deities, And finally they get a call from some Hindu organization that we have deities. And according to Hindu custom, they didn't say this, they found out later, a small chip came off of Radharani's finger in transport. So the deities are not in a completely perfect condition, so we can't use them. Still, they were attached, and maybe they wanted some money or something, whatever. And, Shamasundar Tamal Krishna called Prabhupada, let's go see. And Prabhupada just played this just amazing game with these people. The man says, yes, would you like to see the deities, Swamiji? And we can see, but first where is your wife? Where are your kids? And brought them all out, taught them where you're from and what's your business, and talking and talking and on and on and on. And Swamiji, would you like to see the deities? Okay, we can see. And then Prabhupada came in the room and they lifted the cloth, and Prabhupada showed no expression. And, like, and then, do you want the deities, Swamiji? And then he said, the disciples come over and pick them up. They're very heavy, but are they heavy? No, not heavy at all. All right, we will take them. Let's go. And immediately go to the van. Swamiji, please, wait. No, that is all right. We have our people. We can take care of these things. And they got in the van. And the man and his family, they're just standing there. They're not going to argue or get heavy with Srila Prabhupada. Drive, and they drive like 2 blocks around the corner, stop the van, and then Prabhupada with tears in his eyes, there's chanting Brahma Samhita, Krishna has come. Meditate on Sri Shivada and Krishna. Don't desire anything else, even in your dreams. Your love Praja is more valuable than gold, purified in 10,000 flames, 10,000 artik lamps, offered and accepted. As a fish without water suffers and dies, so a devotee perishes without love for the divine couple. As a chataka bird carefully follows the clouds, so a devotee loves the divine couple. And of course, that love for Shri Radha and Krishna and Radha Govinda is non-different and completely intertwined and part and parcel of serving the order of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, with full heart and soul. Make the words of the Guru, Sadhu, make the words of the spiritual master one with one's heart. Do not let the desire for anything else remain within one's heart. We say love for the lotus feet of the spiritual master. That simultaneously means love for the order, or perhaps more important, love for the instructions of the spiritual master. Raises one to the Uttam Gati, to the highest position, which is full love and devotional service to Shri Shri Radha Govinda. As a bumblebee yearns for lotus flowers, a chakora bird yearns for moonlight, a chaste wife yearns for her husband, and a pauper yearns for money. A devotee yearns to attain love. It does not bring happiness. These things do not bring happiness. They bring only pain. Taste the nectar of serving Lord Govinda. Associate with his devotees. Learn the truth of loving devotional service. The treasure of divine love does not present itself before the demons who turn their backs on Lord Govinda, become angry when they see the devotees, and think the devotees are ordinary people. You see the culture of sex life, free intermingling, and just dressing and augmenting your body in such a way to attract others' attention. It has nothing to do with devotional service. It's the culture of the demons. So that is how you can turn away from it, by increasing your emotional, intellectual, every aspect of yourself investment in the devotional service of Shri Shri Radha Govinda. Then automatically Nivartante takes place. Automatically. These unfortunate fools cannot understand the truth, proud, bewildered by false ego, and empty of devotion for the Lord. And beyond this, just like our Srila Prabhupada, your heart breaks at seeing them spiritually bankrupt. Repetition of the same thing over and over and over and over and over again with absolutely no mellow or rasa, zero. Wasting their lives. Heartbreaking. Whether they're young, whether they're old. They are the poorest and most wretched people in the world. All their thoughts are empty and without meaning. O mind, renounce everything and desire only to love and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, Lord Govinda, the best of they who taste transcendental nectar. He stays in King Nanda's house. Desire him alone. Narottam Das says, because I cannot attain the association of devotees, my life is like a burning fire. No one is unfortunate as I. I am overcome by material illusion, and great pain is beginning to awaken in my heart. Vrindavan is beyond the descriptive power of words. It is the best of all holy places. It is self-manifest, filled with the most intense transcendental bliss, free from the touch of the material misery and death, in the place where Lord Krishna eternally enjoys nectar pastimes. Radha and Krishna's love is more glorious than gold purified in 10,000 flames. Radha and Krishna make great waves in the ocean of love. The love in their eyes is like a chakora bird. Kama and Rati meditate on them. Their love and happiness are the closest of friends. Become their eternal servant. Make them more dear than life. With your eyes drink the nectar of their beauty and pastimes. Dive in an ocean of bliss. Always serve the youthful divine couple who are seated on a jewel throne and beyond the rules of the Vedas. Speak of ordinary people in the so-called mundane morality of this world. Why don't you worship Lord Hari now that you have this rare human birth? If you don't worship him, what do you think your fate will be after death? Give up all other duties. Don't worship demigods or absorb yourself in any other lower, inferior concepts of whatever category. Serve Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Do not worship Lord Nanda, the blissful master of Braja, and the entire world around you will become filled with pain, become attracted to higher material realms, the attainment of liberation, or the hellish pleasures of this sphere, and your valuable human will become spoiled. Do not put your trust in the material body. After death, Yamaraj will punish you, and your karma will push you into an ocean of pain. Now that you have heard and understood this, please follow the path of the saints and scriptures. Worship and love the lotus feet of the youthful divine couple. And this is where the famous verse, this is song number Prema Bhakti Chandrika, the moonlight of loving devotion by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, song 8, verse 8. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevala Vishera Bandha. The fruitive work of Karma Kanda and the speculations of Jnana Kanda are two pots of poison. If one drinks these two poisons and then proclaims that they are both as sweet as nectar, he will fall from the human realm and spend a long time wandering in many species of life, eating many abominable things and enjoying many horrible pleasures. Those who proclaim someone else as their Lord and don't love Radha and Krishna don't understand anything of loving devotional service, not asking about devotional service. All their thoughts placed in the illusory material world, they have wasted their lives. Most people know only of work and philosophy, karma and jnana. They don't know anything about devotional service. Each with a different opinion, they are all fools. Don't listen to their talk. Learn about devotional service, the life of the devotees. Lord Hari is present in every nook and corner of this material cosmic manifestation. Rāma and Shiva are his order carriers. Of his pastimes is very, very sweet. One who knows this is a great soul. I yearn for his association. Thirst to attain Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Worship him, love him as the residents of Braja did. Reside in Purpur, where Lord Krishna eternally enjoys pastimes. Stay in the company of great souls that relish the nectar. Great souls always stay in Braja day and night, their hearts full of love for Krishna. That is the truth. It is not otherwise. Srila Jiva Goswami proved it. So, such as Mahabharata par excellence, Srila Prabhupada, he is showing that the pure devotee brings or creates the Vrindavan mood anywhere in this material world where he decides to reside by his pure and empowered service. And the pure, empowered devotional service most needed and demonstrated by Srila Prabhupada as he learned personally from his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya very, very vigorously, with innovation, dexterity, and great intelligence and compassion. Swami Bhaktivedanta did an how does he say it? Archetypical neighborhood, New York's Lower East Side, and enshrined Krishna in a temple storefront, speaking on the Bhagavad Gita and quoting Sanskrit, with compassion, what kindness, intelligence, and humility. Allen Ginsberg. I will meditate, Yeah. I will meditate on the lotus feet of the devotees, hear from them, remember Lord Krishna's gopi friends, and always be happy in Brajapur. I will meditate on the youthful divine couple and sing of their nectar pastimes. I pray for that. In this life or after death, I have no other desire. Thus speaks poor-hearted Narottam Das. So the facility that we've been given is very, very great. We've been given the supreme powerful process. So we're not simply meant to overcome the material energy for our own sake, but we're meant to be very strong soldier devotees, warrior devotees. To take a devotional service is more or less a declaration of war against the illusory energy. And she will try her utmost to defeat us. What is that example? That where we're in the river, and we don't feel the current, we're just being like pushed downstream. But we try to get out, then the current of the river is stronger by the shore. We can even make a greater effort not to drown or to be lost in the final exit of the raging river. So not only have we been given the complete rescue pack or kit or tools, but we are expected on behalf of this glorious parampara of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to save the entire world. So we should take very, very seriously the primary method given to us, the propagation of the holy names of Krishna. That's why this New York Yatra is such an amazing opportunity, because just functionally or practically, you can propagate Sankirtan here all day and night 365 days a year. Maybe not all the time in public, but most of the time. And not just one group. There could be multi Sankirtan parties in this city. Even the last 2 years, I'll use the expression, the city's been sucker punched in the stomach. You know, sucker punched. You're still fighting, but you're trying to get your breath back. City, maybe population-wise, or people on the street-wise, or in public-wise, something like 60%. Still, Prabhupada started a movement here, and just in tribute to Srila Prabhupada alone, to maintain the glory of what he's done here, just that alone is worthy reason to stay here. What to speak of expanding more and more. The best defense is a more powerful offense. If you're the powerful, if you're the one who's like delivering blows and putting it into a bad position, what do you have to worry about? About defending yourself, because you're on the offensive. Srila Prabhupada, don't the tests from Maya just keep going on and never end? No, Prabhupada said, there's only a certain amount of tests. And after that, you pass. And Maya says, you have defeated me. Very happy. You win. So Srila Prabhupada is the great personality, way beyond the modes of material nature, and the par excellent guide for everyone to enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Balaram, and Goloka Vrindavan Dham, in whatever ultimately is one's eternal sthai bhava. But for one and all, the overarching canopy for everyone is Lord Sankirtan movement, which awakens all varieties of devotional service. And the great in-house value of all the devotees cooperatively, at least sometime, to propagate the Sankirtan movement in public, not just the retreat. Go into this retreat. Well, go out and fight first and earn the right to retreat, for goodness sake. That brings everyone together. Puts aside all petty quarrels and foibles and squabbles and this, that, the other thing, and leaves devotees in a position of great appreciation and love for each other. Understanding his wife's purpose, he was obligated to perform the forbidden act, and thus after offering his obeisances unto worshipful fate, he lay with her in a secluded place. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Any questions or comments?